All right, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about Lightbringer, Book 2, The Blinding Knife by Brent Weeks. Um, I've done a re listen to the series. I already posted the first one, The Black Prism, earlier. And these first couple books I've always really enjoyed, and I'm excited to talk about more of these, especially there's some really cool parts in this book. If you have not read this book yet, I really recommend you check out the Lightbringer series. I think it's great. Um, I have finished my reread through, and I'm just going through and reviewing all of these now, piece by piece. It's just I've got a backlog of things to catch up on, but I really enjoyed the series, and on my second read through, I thought there were elements that I liked even better than the first time around. If you The basic premise of the series is that it's kind of like a flintlock fantasy, so meaning that there's like pistols, like flintlock pistols and stuff like that. But there's also magic and stuff in the world. So really exciting. Plays with colors a lot. That's how the magic system works. I think it's super cool, pretty well balanced. Consequences for having magic. Uh, really recommend you read it. It's a great series to check out, and I think there's a lot of really good elements, including characters. Characters are really well done. I think that's one of Brent Weeks' strongest points in this series. Is just his characters overall are amazing. But beyond this point, I'm going to go into spoilers. So if you've not read it, go read it, come back, and then you can watch. All right, unless you don't care about spoilers. So I want to start off with my favorite point in this book. So we can start with the positives, which is the Blackguard, the trial to get into the Blackguard. That they basically have to fight their way up the ranking, in the top 14 at the end will make it into the Blackguard. I think this is a culmination of so many scenes, so much emotion. It is so good. Um, there's the element of Kip and Tia and Crux are all figuring out, well, mainly Kip figuring out and kind of showing off his smarts a bit more in this book of this conspiracy basically to keep him out of the Blackguard set up by his grandpa. And he's got basically Trainer Trainer Fisk, locked in on this. He's got a few of his colleagues locked in on on basically keeping him out, and they're more than happy to keep him out. So there's that element. We get the element of Kip being a bit hot-headed and getting into a fight with Aram, which is also a super satisfying fight where he almost wins, but Aram almost kills him too. Like literally almost snaps his neck. And like that fight is super intense and super interesting and so emotionally impactful because like we get to be in Kip's head, and like this is the first time that he really felt like he belonged, and he basically doesn't get in, and he feels like a disappointment to his father because his father's watching, and we get to see we get to live in that moment with him, and it's so well written, it's so well done. And the element of it afterwards with Cruxer just snapping Aram's knee to basically be like, no, you don't deserve to be in it, but Kip deserves to be in, so I'm going to kick you out permanently, is so satisfying. Like, it shows just, like, there's so much, like, emotion and impact, and we get, like, pulled back and forth. Oh, it's honestly one of my favorite parts of this series. And I'm almost willing to die on that hill. This scene, there's some other good parts moving forward into the other books too, but this scene specifically, I just absolutely love. I think it's the most, like, the best part of this book. There's so many good moments in it, and it's just super well done. There's a lot of other good elements of this book that I like a lot. I really think that these next couple books are really the strongest. The first book has like a lot. The first book is really good, don't get me wrong, but I would say it's definitely weaker than this book. There feels like this book is kind of where the Brent Weeks gets his like footing a bit more and keeps like I guess footing a bit more is he's running now where he's like jogging in the first book. And there's so much good stuff. I think that the fight in Ruick Head, I'm not messing that up, or is that Wheel of Time? Am I going crazy? No, Ruick Head's Wheel of Time. Why can't I think of what am I doing? That's what happens when you read so many books. You get things start blurring together. But the fight at the end when they're fighting the Green Bane is also a very good set of scenes. I honestly, like, again, I think the Blackguard fight was the most impactful set of scenes, but the fight through the Bane is interesting in its own way. I like the elements with Iron Fist and the fight against the Green God, and we get to see Liv on the other side, so we kind of get this good double perspective of both sides. And, like, the plan, the trap that's sprung, and it makes, like, they beat the Green Bane, but there's also like this, like, we didn't really win. We pretty much lost this fight. And there's so it's like this like bittersweet victory of like, yeah, we won, but like we ended up really losing what we were fighting for in the first place. Like we took some important pieces off the board, but and I mean it's so good. So good. And then I think one of the other best things is the reveal. A lot of these obviously come in after all the setup and stuff like that. Janice Borg is really great. I love the Nine Kings introduction, the game. I really enjoy when books add in a game, and especially with I've played a lot. Well, I'm not like a huge Magic the Gathering person, but I've played a decent chunk of it, and I really like that card game element in this story, and like how it does impact the story and how it's important, and how there's more elements to it than it just being a game. There's also like being able to view the original creations of the cards and stuff like that, and being able to live through these people's lives, which is another great setup. And Janice Borg is, again, super cool character. Loved. Like, we don't get to know a whole lot about her in this book. We get to know some. But it's a satisfying character just right from the get-go. And the introduction of so many moving pieces that are going on in the background that clearly Brent Weeks knew about writing this series, like had it planned out from the beginning. And it's just like giving us little like breadcrumbs to follow. And I love it, and I'm so excited about it. But then like the ending with the reveal that Andros is a red-white, and Kip figures it out, and they fight over the blinding knife, and obviously Gavin gets stabbed and thrown overboard, and Kip jumps in after him, and Andros gets the reveal of he's not the blinding knife actually helped him out. So I really enjoyed that element quite a bit too. Like at the end, there's so many little setup things. We get the setup with Gunnar, and with Kip being in a new place, with Zyman, and so many good things moving into book 3. Trying to think of like critiques for this book specifically. I guess like some of the setup's a bit slow, but really not. I think a lot of this setup is, and maybe it's just me, maybe you guys will have different opinions than me, but I really think a lot of the setup for this book is like really interesting, and like there's so many good payoffs even in this book, and there's so many things that I'm like super interested in moving forward. Like that, I remember the first, because this is I think I've read through the first 4 books of this series like 3, maybe 4 times. I think this might be my third or fourth. I know this is at least my third time reading this book specifically. It might be my 4th though. because I was reading this as like I think I had the first three when they came, and then after that I was reading them as they came out. Like I read four right after it came out, and I read five right after it came out. So usually when I have book series like that, occasionally I'll go back and start from the beginning and read all of them up to that point, just so I can remember what's going on. But I thought this book was just like I loved getting into this book, and like I remember the first time reading it, like I could not put these books down. I was so invested, and there's so many, like, again with that Blackguard training scene. I'm always impressed when a writer can really make me feel deep emotions, like getting me to like feel immense joy, or tears, or anything like that, is such a, especially when you read and consume a lot of stories, very difficult to do. And I think the best stories always have those elements where like you leave, and like that scene or that sequence, that feeling just sticks with you forever. Moving even after the series is over and done with, like there's always just like this, you just, oh yeah, I remember this one part about the series, I love this. When you ever talk about it with people. So I'm really excited to talk about more of this series. I'm excited to talk about book 5 because we'll get there. We'll get there. I think it'll be an interesting conversation getting through all of these books again, and talking to you guys about them, and I want to see what other people have to say about the series, because I feel like this series is a bit kind of, I don't want to say underrated, but maybe just like not on a lot of people's radar yet. It is, I would say, relatively new. The last book didn't come out that long ago, but I really think more people should be definitely be given this a chance, see what they think about it. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. I will be back with book 3 at some point pretty soon. And we're going to get these books reviews out, and I'm excited to see what people think about them, and hope a few people will be convinced to read, or if they haven't finished the series, be inspired to finish the series, and so we can talk about it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.